Hello, everybody. My name is Jessica Taylor, and for my term project, I chose the topic of economic opportunity. With economic opportunity, it's more and more important every day as we go on than it was so long ago in the 18th and 19th century. It started out important then, and it continues to be important now. The unemployment rate, it has a lot to do with economic opportunity. It was at its highest points in the years 2008 and 2009. And just in Virginia, which is where I live alone, it was 7.1% and 6.9% in the years in June and July in 2008 and 2009. And then it finally went down to 6.5 in August of 2009, which is kind of when the economy kind of started getting back on its feet, and unemployment rates started to go down, and people were starting to find jobs, and more jobs were becoming available to people throughout different areas and different states. And Virginia was actually the fifth lowest during that month of August of the unemployment rates nationally, which is pretty good. Especially the area that I live in Virginia, a lot of the jobs are to do with coal mining, and just stuff that is kind of becoming less and less now. A lot of men, that was their main income, was coal mines, and then of course women, worked in offices for coal mine companies and things like that. So if those coal mines went under, then that affected a lot of people in their jobs and a lot of people in their families. Especially children that grew up in those environments in their house. Their parents, that's what they knew, were coal miners, and if they didn't go on to college and find other things they were interested in or different jobs, then they really didn't know what else to go about or what else to do. Their family only knew coal mines, and that was the common thing for a long time. That was what families made their living from and cared for their family with. So the drop in unemployment rates, especially for the state of Virginia, just showed that there was a growth in economic opportunity, and that the economy was starting to build back up, and people were starting to get jobs and make the growth happen for the economy that they needed. So it's becoming more and more prominent that young people are getting their high school education and they're getting their college education, and even if it's just a general studies degree, even McDonald's and places like that want to see definitely high school graduates, and then some of them, of course, they love to see college degrees, especially if you're getting going to like med school or advanced degrees after your initial associate's or bachelor's degree. You need some kind of job to get you through while you're doing those advanced studies. So of course, any kind of place, fast food or anything, is going to want to see education, the most education that they can. People of course can get those jobs without degrees, but if it's up against a person with a degree and a person without a degree, they're going to look at those two people and say, which is my better candidate. So they are going to hire people with high school degrees or college degrees or anything, usually, almost always, depending on the person too, of course, over somebody that doesn't have that degree. So it's super important that they're going to college and they're getting a degree, because especially with the economy being so down and jobs being so hard to find, and all these jobs that people are used to having that are being eliminated, such as the coal mines and things like that, people need to be able to have other things to fall back on and different kind of jobs that they can look into and be able to go to. So it's important that people are making sure that they go to high school and then going to college and getting some type of degree, and then hopefully moving forward and doing advanced studies, and you find something that they're interested in, that they like, and that they are going to be able to make a career out of and keep growing from throughout their life. Especially job security. If somebody has a degree over somebody that doesn't, it's going to help their job security so much more. That was one reason why I did the program that I did at King, which was the RN to BSN program. I had my associate's degree already, and I was already a practicing registered nurse, but everybody, all this talk of they're going to go to making you have a bachelor's degree, or you're going to have to have a bachelor's degree to get certain positions and things like that, it made me kind of worried. So I went ahead and got my bachelor's, even though I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to continue and go on past this. At least I have this under my belt and it's done. And if I choose to go on and get my master's later, I'm one step ahead of the game. Even though nursing is still, there's a huge shortage in nursing and everybody needs nurses everywhere, I still had that fear or that worry that eventually places would start, especially in big cities and areas like that, if I decide to move or, travel or do different things, they're going to want a bachelor's degree nurse over an associate's degree nurse. Even though they're both practicing nurses, they both have a license and essentially can do the same things, I wanted to make sure I had that under my belt just in case they decide to say that. Kind of like with LPNs. LPNs have went through that period where they were allowed to practice as a functioning nurse, and then a lot of hospitals took a lot of responsibilities away from them and wouldn't let them carry patient loads or do anything other than like maybe pass meds or different things like that. Like right now, there's a lot of things that registered nurses can do that LPNs can't do. So if they are at a hospital that they let them take patients in a full assignment, they still are things they can't do and they have to find a registered nurse to do them. So that's kind of how I felt about the bachelor's degree in nursing, and worrying about maybe they'll eventually make that change and want bachelor's degree nurses over associate's degree nurses. So that's kind of, based on why people should get an education and making sure that they're getting their education under their belt so that when they do have a job opportunity, they're able to get that job and do what they want to do in life because they have the degree that's necessary, and that makes them wanted more from companies as well. Especially a lot of high schools are starting to look at degrees is even more important now. A lot of students have the opportunity to actually take college courses while they're still in high school, and some colleges or some high school students are even graduating high school with a college degree at the same time. Most are just like an associate's degree, but there actually is a school in Florida Atlantic University High School, that is allowing their students to take courses throughout high school, and they're actually graduating not only with their high school diploma, but a bachelor's degree as well, which is amazing. That gets them way ahead of the game of anybody else their age or anybody else around in what they want to do in life. So I think it's great that people are taking initiative and pushing people to go to school and to do things and to get their economic growth where it needs to be, because we need to have the people in the community going to school and getting education so they can continue to have these jobs and continue to build these employment positions and maybe create new jobs for people, because a lot of the jobs, especially in my area where I'm from, are being eliminated and becoming less and less for people to be able to do and to make a living from. So it kind of goes back into time, even when Christopher Columbus was first trading and first discovering the New World. He was making deals with people and having people work for him, and people traded with him, and that all goes into economic opportunity and economic growth, and it plays a part then just as much as it does now. So it's super important that people are doing things to build the communities and build the economy and continue the growth and working and going to school and just making the circle continue. Thank you.